It's Christmas, Wyatt. It's the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
This is our holiday special.
It is.
Hooray!
Can't you hear the jingle bells?
Yeah, I can hear them.
These are. It's.
It's dead silent in this room right now. But yeah. Anyway, to get into the holiday spirit, I didn't grow up Christian or anything or religious in any way, but
Yeah, same. Yeah.
Christmas was always a pretty big thing in my family. I don't know about you, because like every year we just kind of did like our typical gathering, and like before when a lot of my relatives were still around, it was like much larger. Now it's kind of like died out a bit. But yeah, like what were some of your like Christmas traditions? I don't know. Not much.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess just seeing like my dad on Boxing Day.
Oh, okay.
Like maybe
Right.
like I don't know. Like and then like whatever, like going to like my like that side of the family for Christmas
That makes sense.
dinner. That's really like about it. Like I don't know. I think like it's like whatever kind of like normal sort of like I guess like put up the tree.
Yeah.
And then like
I would do that too.
yeah,
And
exactly.
then
Which is like I don't know.
typical. We'd have dinner. I don't know. Did you ever write letters to Santa?
Yeah, like all the time. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I still do.
You still do?
And he doesn't write me back.
No.
The fucking asshole. So I wonder if it's like going to like a junk mailbox or something like that. Like maybe I gotta like contact the North Pole Post Office or something
I
and be
think
like,
so.
hey, is
I
this
think-
like getting through?
Yeah,
like,
I don't. Yeah. You believed in Santa? Yeah.
Oh, I believe. Well, and I had like when I was like 4 or 5 or like 4 or 5,
Mhm.
I thought I had proof that Santa was real
Mhm.
because on like Christmas like day pretty much is when I woke up. I was like kind of awake and I was like, oh, I wonder if Santa's been by yet. And I heard a thump on my roof.
Whoa.
So I thought it was him. Like I heard like I thought it was him. That like it had to be him. So I tried to fall back asleep so he would still come and deliver my presents. And so for years I just used that as like fact that I thought he was real.
Just because of thump.
Yeah, like that's all like it took for me to like
Mhm.
kind of
No,
like
that makes sense.
yeah believe
It was actually just Tim Allen.
in the Santa Claus. Yeah.
I've,
That movie fucked up how I like spelled Claus. By the way, I
Did it?
couldn't. Yeah, man, I was so confused. I couldn't tell like.
I've never seen it.
I saw it. I saw it
Yeah,
as a kid.
yeah.
Okay, maybe that's like another like. But I mean, I used to watch it as a kid, and then I stopped pretty quickly.
All I know about it is that the premise of the movie is Tim Allen knocks Santa off the roof of the house and kills him.
Mm-hmm.
He kills Santa Claus, and then he becomes Santa Claus.
And it's the Santa Claus that whoever the person who puts on his coat after the death will become the Santa Claus. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, this is my podcast now. I'm interviewing you.
Okay.
What are some of your favorite holiday movies?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Okay.
No, I do know. Because it's just like, see, the problem I have with like holiday Christmas movies is the same problem I have with like Halloween movies, in that like there's really not many variation in both the movies themselves and also the movies that people like. Like, because my first like instinct was to go Elf.
Yeah.
And then
there's
National
Elf.
Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
That's a
and then
tradition.
Die Hard.
Yeah.
And then Home Alone. And then Home Alone 2 Lost in New York. And then fuck any of the other ones after that. But like, you know what I mean? Maybe you're gonna get somebody who's like maybe a little bit out there and like the Rankin Bass like the Rankin Bass Frosty's okay, but even like the weird like Santa Claus and I somehow watched a lot of those Rankin Bass Christmas specials one year on like a Teletoon or something. They were just doing like a whole night of just that. So I watched a bunch of them, and then one of them was I think it's called The Year Without Santa Claus, and it's just these two. There's like there's like the heat miser and the snow miser. So the snow miser is the cold guy, and the heat miser is the hot guy, and they have this like song that it's like basically the same song twice, but with different lyrics
Okay.
to reflect, and it's a good song, and I like that song. But no one really knows about it. But it's a good song.
No, I don't know about it.
I'll say that when it comes to holiday movies.
Okay. How do you feel about Home Alone?
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you grow up with it?
Like in a way. Like
Okay.
I don't know. I guess I could. okay, so bring it back this way too. Maybe then like the Polar Express, because that's more of a movie that I like kind of actually did grow. That was more of like my Home Alone in a weird way.
Okay.
Just because
that's a lot of people's
because like
nostalgic.
If you're like a 2000 or early 2000s born Zoomer, Gen Z, Gen Z, whatever. Like, I feel like Polar Express is one of those movies that you just ended up seeing, and then maybe also like the Jim Carrey Christmas Carol as well.
Okay, I've never seen the Jim Carrey Christmas Carol.
I saw that as as like a school thing as well. It was like, did you ever do that in school, like in elementary school?
Well, yeah, we watched Polar Express.
Yeah,
no, not to the theaters though.
Yeah, we used to do that.
No, they brought in the little cart with the CRT TV
at my school,
and watched Polar Express.
We used to, in elementary, we used to go to like the Strawberry Hills movie theater and watch like a movie like right before like our Christmas break. Yeah, like one year we watched like the Narnia movie that came out that year, and in class we watched the other movies. So when we saw it in the movie theater, we saw that on the little CRT.
Interesting.
And then like another year we saw that Jim Carrey like one, and then we saw the Jim Carrey Christmas Carol, and which was a Disney movie, I think.
It is.
And then there was that like Jack Frost like DreamWorks Guardians Rising.
Yeah,
that is a Christmas movie.
It is.
It is.
Of course, it is.
Yeah. But we saw that in
theaters. I don't remember that much.
I remember it just because I saw it in theaters.
Yeah, okay.
And I remember there's a weird thing with the Sandman where somebody said it was supposed to be like code for like the Illuminati or something.
What?
I think that might have just been like, I don't know, like what one of the kids was saying in my class, because I was very confused about it. It was like a weird symbolism thing.
It's funny because like you mentioned Polar Express, and I knew that was gonna come up because of course it is. And we watched it. Yeah, like they would bring it in school. I just don't really like Polar Express that much. I don't know. It's kind of creepy to me. It's creepy.
The scene with the puppets always freaked me out as a kid, and I still
don't
really
remember
like
that
it.
scene. I don't remember much from it. I just know the animation is creepy. I don't know.
I like it enough. I like it enough in a weird, like, I like it in a weird, like, creepy way that it feels like this, like, kind of, like, dream state almost. Like, it's this weird, like, perspective thing. I don't want to really quite call it an adventure movie, but that's
kind of is.
Yeah, it's kind of what it is, honestly. I like the setting on the train. I like the setting of the Polar Express. I like when they get to the North Pole and they're in the whole conveyor belt system of like Santa's workshop. I like the reveal too at the end with like the bell where the kid doesn't like believe in Santa Claus, so he doesn't hear the bells even though they're like jingling and it's like deafening silent. And then it's finally when Santa Claus basically comes out and it's Tom Hanks as Santa Claus.
Whoa.
And he was also the conductor.
He was. It's just, I don't know, the creepiness comes from the fact that it's so photorealistic in a way, or they're trying to go over that vibe. But it was like what?
Well, it was mocap too.
Yeah,
it was a motion capture.
But it was
film.
It was like 2006. I
2000,
think.
like earlier than that. I think I'm pretty sure it was 2004.
Yeah, and it was just, I feel like it wasn't quite there yet. And that's why it's just like it doesn't hold up to me.
Yeah, 2004.
In that way. Okay, 2004.
I think when we were talking the other day too, we were talking about the Peter Jackson Lord of the Ring movies, like the original trilogy. We were talking about the Harry Potter movies, and it's like, and even to a degree the Star Wars prequels.
Yes.
Just that they were all this kind of advancement in CG. And I think Polar Express is. No, like, you know what? But it's part of that. I think it's part of that era.
You're right.
Of like that we're like getting this technical part. We have a movie like Pirates of the Caribbean where the dude's tentacles look like amazing.
It did.
Yeah,
and then Transformers.
And Transformers 2007 as well. Yeah.
Which I know was brought up on Josiah's episode, right? I didn't listen to that one. Sorry, I'm behind on the podcast.
Part of the reason of like we won't get into it.
The decline of
you don't have to get into the meta of the podcast.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No. What did you guys talk about in terms of Transformers?
Just that it was like just like one of the few like movies he had and like his like upbringing that wasn't.
Me too.
That was like kind of like not like Christian related.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. And that was like weird because it's kind of like a violent like movie.
It is. Yeah. Interesting. So what, he would watch that during Christmas or no?
No, it wasn't just about Christmas. Nothing about Christmas.
Okay,
no.
You would just watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me too. I would watch like the first two. Yeah. I grew up with a lot of Christmas movies. I grew up watching Home Alone. Home Alone 1 and 2 I think are like probably some of my favorite movies of all time. And then I think my dad likes to do a tradition where he watches National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. There's that, and then Christmas Story, there's Elf. We mentioned Elf. Have you seen Love Actually?
No, I haven't.
Mm.
Well, actually, that's a lie. My
Well,
mom was. I caught like the tail end of it when my mom was watching it last
mm.
year.
That's it's a rom com
Hmm.
kind of. Yeah, no, it's a rom com. It's just it's like the film is essentially just a bunch of people falling in love. That's all it is, and it's really silly, but I don't know. It's like it's a fun holiday movie. You should watch it.
Yeah, it looked funny. I
Hmm.
just seen the end of it. It's got like a crazy cast
It
too. Like it
does.
has like 1,000 different
Yeah.
like names in it.
I like Alan Rickman's in it.
Yeah, Alan Rickman's in it.
Hugh
It's got Liam
Grant,
Neeson.
Liam Neeson.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bill Nighy.
Mm-hmm.
It's got Martin Freeman.
Yep.
It's got
Yeah. Martin Freeman's.
yeah, and it's also got I can't, it's got just a whole bunch of people. I can't remember them all now, but just like an
That's most of
insane
them.
amount. Yeah.
Yep. It's funny because like Martin Freeman has some scenes in that movie that's like kind of sexually explicit,
Mm-hmm.
and I was watching it on TV one time, and I was like waiting for those scenes to come up, just because I like Martin Freeman and just that they're funny scenes, and they didn't show up because they cut them out of the TV version. And I was like, I know it wasn't even like I was expecting it. It was just I noticed its absence because those scenes stand out so much, and it was just like, oh. Yeah, this movie's missing something, but what is it? Oh yeah, they cut out the.
That was at the time I was watching Street Fighter the movie on TV, and it missed a couple of scenes and like notable scenes too. Like some of the actual best scenes in the movies they cut out.
Damn,
Yeah,
I haven't
assholes.
seen Street Fighter the movie.
It's like not.
I know
great.
that was when video game movies were not great, but
They're still getting better. The problem is that there was like no street
getting
fighting. There was more like gunplay than like that. Like it wasn't Street Fighter. It was guns and cars. Like that's what that movie was.
Weird.
It was very little. Yeah.
mhm. There's Christmas movies, but then there's movies that I like to watch like annually that are not Christmas movies, but I always watch them during the holidays. Do you have any movies like that?
Mm,
Not really.
not really. No. Maybe just like the Harry Potter movies sometimes, but I haven't watched them in like years.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's not like an annual thing.
No, not really. I usually just like keep it to like Christmas movies.
Yeah.
Like specifically just be kind of in like the holiday spirit. Like Die Hard is probably as like far
Yeah,
as
yeah,
it
yeah.
goes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another good one. So for me, I like to watch Lord of the Rings every Christmas or around the holidays. I don't know. It just feels like holiday a film to me. I don't know. Do you understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
It's like because
it's
there's
about coming together. And,
no,
and
no, no. It's not
bonds
even
and
that. It's
relation-
just
oh,
it's just the vibe. I don't know. It's hard to explain because another film I think for some reason fits like the December vibe is Empire Strikes Back.
Mm. That's just because it opens up on the snow planet Hoth.
Kinda.
That's like
kinda.
that's
But like I don't know. There's like something about the story and the way the film looks and the way the film feels. That's just like that's for Christmas time for some reason. I don't know.
Mm.
You know,
Mm.
a lot of big movies come out during December and stuff. So I think that's why.
I think didn't like the I guess maybe honestly Spider-Verse then the first movie
Mm.
because I think that did come out in December and that
Mhm.
movie it's not necessarily a Christmas movie but it has a
Mhm.
lot of snow in it.
Mm-hmm,
And it also
Okay.
does have like that kind of like similar like kind of like I guess cozy vibe just with the
Mhm.
colors and the lighting and just how that whole movie looks in general.
Mm-hmm.
And it is still also too like a story about like a father and son.
Mm-hmm.
Like once so it kind of gets
Right.
that relationship kind of bringing people together that you get from Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And so I bet maybe that. But I don't really watch that at Christmas, but when I do watch it, it reminds me I could imagine this movie taking like a couple weeks before
Mhm.
like Christmas is about to happen and then Miles is when he gets his spider powers.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm, yeah. Just like there's so many like kind of shitty Christmas movies.
Oh, Jingle All the Way.
Okay.
That
I
one's
don't
kind
think
of
I've seen that one fully.
Phil Hartman is probably the best thing about that movie, but like
Mhm.
Arnold is pretty funny in that one too.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Christmas with the Cranks. There's a really mid movie called Fred Claus.
Oh yeah, that's
You
with
seen-
Vince Vaughn.
Yeah,
and,
Vince Vaughn.
I was about to like what's his name? I can't remember.
I don't know.
He
Someone plays like a little elf guy
yeah
in that movie.
Hold on. Just because I hate that I know Fred Claus.
I
and
know.
I really wanted to watch it because it looked fun. Oh, Paul Giamatti. Yes, that's what it is. Paul
right.
Giamatti
He plays
is
the elf.
No, he plays Santa Claus.
Oh, he plays Santa Claus.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Interesting. Well, there's There's better Christmas movies. There's Jim Carrey's The Grinch. There's that movie.
Yeah. I don't know. With that one as like a Christmas movie, I don't know what it is. Like,
I don't actually remember fully how it ends.
I
I just remember liking Jim Carrey as the Grinch.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember that was a movie that did kind of like really scare me as a kid in a weird way, just because it was just like so like invasive in a way. I don't know. He's always like the Grinch is. I guess that's the point of his characters, but it felt like he's always up to like some conniving and no good, and
Yeah,
I just didn't
Grinch.
trust him.
You're not supposed to.
Oh
He's
wait,
the
really?
Grinch.
Oh, okay.
His heart grows twice the size that day.
And then he visits his doctor, and he says, "You have stage 4 terminal.
There's a tumor. That was the tumor. That was a tumor.
It's growing,
Mm-hmm.
and with your medical bills." See, the Grinch was actually the guy who shot that United Medical. Anyways,
Okay. Have you seen Scrooged?
I have.
That's a good movie.
That is kind
It's
of a
just
good movie.
Christmas Carol.
Yeah, but with
but-
Bill Murray.
Exactly. I think that's my favorite version of Christmas Carol.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I like how it ends too in like the TV studio when he
Mhm.
kind of gives that speech. I don't know, something about it. I feel like it's really good, like structured
Mm-hmm.
movie that it is just doing a Christmas Carol like extremely on the nose, but then finding like I hate to say it, the postmodern aspect of it.
Yeah.
Like if
It feels
it
very
being
capitalist in a way.
yeah, exactly,
Which is kind of funny.
which relates back to the original message and story overall, truthfully, but
yeah.
it's like it still doesn't feel like a normal Christmas Carol. It still
No.
finds like ways to be distinct and unique, and I think having like the disgruntled employee who comes back with like the shotgun to like kill him, it really adds a lot to the movie because it takes that character of the original Christmas Carol, who's a down and out family man, and he's like in the present day we're supposed to empathize and sympathize with him, so we can see how Scrooge's greed affects everyone overall. With this one, it's so much more direct and on the nose that like Bill Murray's Scrooge character is in his like office, and the death with the scythe is about to come like out of the TVs that are like in behind him watching him, and then all of a sudden bang, shotgun blast goes off and it's the dude that he fired earlier in the day come back to kill him. Like that's kind of like a good, and then that guy helps him out at the end of the movie when he gives like his big speech, because he basically it's like, all right, go to the control room, fire your gun and tell him to point the cameras at me, and then like that's like how that kind of movie like wraps up and ends. And like the whole thing too was like there's a weird like movie within the movie of like them doing a Christmas Carol TV live musical thing.
I forgot a lot of elements of that, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That
Though,
makes
like,
sense.
yeah, it's like it tries to do a lot of things that like on your first like idea and like remembrance of it is just doing a Christmas Carol, but then it tries to do more things.
Yeah, no.
And I think it was also the movie he did in between like Ghostbusters 2 and Space Jam, Bill Murray.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Forgot he was in Space Jam.
Yeah. Well, because he retired from comedy to become a comedian, just like how...
He retired from comedy to become a comedian.
Sorry, no, he retired from comedy to become a basketball player. Like
Yes,
how
of
Michael
course.
Jordan retired from basketball to
Be a
become
baseball.
to become an
player.
actor.
Baseball player.
Oh,
In
yeah,
the
that's
movie, he becomes a baseball player.
But that's...
But
That,
yeah,
was-
to
that,
become
that was,
an actor.
that's great.
Speaking of Christmas Carol, there's one more movie that I think I watched kind of recently, and it was a Muppet movie. And it's literally just the Muppets Christmas Carol. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's really well directed. And actually, could you look it up right now? Because I forgot the exact name, but it's Jim Henson's son. Jim Henson's son directed Christmas Carol, Muppet Chrysler Carol. Yeah.
Sorry, hold on. No, I was still looking up.
Okay,
Still looking
yeah,
up
yeah.
Bill Murray. Sorry, no,
That's
no,
fair.
no.
That's fair.
No, sorry. It was basically the no. Sorry, it was basically the movie he did between Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2 was Scrooged.
Oh, okay.
So I want to clarify that.
Okay, that's
Okay.
even crazier.
But Muppets Christmas Carol. Okay,
Mhm.
it's something. It's something Henson.
Mm-hmm. His son directed it, and he's a really good director because he also directed the Muppet
Ryan Henson.
Ryan Henson. Brian Henson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, he's a really good director, just like Jim Henson. Jim Henson was a good director too, because he also directed Labyrinth, I think,
Mm-hmm.
with Frank Oz. I think that's actually a really good movie. And no, Brian Henson, he just kind of like really took this Muppet Christmas Carol movie and like just put a lot into it. And he also directed the Muppet Treasure Island, and that's got Tim Curry in it. and that's also really good. Like those are probably the two some like really good Muppet movies. Yeah.
Sorry, you're gonna be a little bit of an ad playing in that one.
Yeah. So that's a good Christmas movie. You should probably watch that. What else? What other Christmas films?
Well, technically, Batman Returns. Like, there's a lot of
Oh.
technical Christmas movies. Like, Batman Returns is one of them. It's
Yeah, I
technically a
haven't seen
Christmas
that in a
movie.
long time.
Die Hard falls in that category because it's a Christmas
Even
movie.
Die Hard 2.
Yep, Die Hard 2, which not a lot of people like, but I like Die Hard 2.
No, I like it.
And it makes
It's good.
me, every time it gives me a new insight whenever I go into an airport now.
Yeah, because you're right.
Yeah. I'm just like, shit, it would kind of be that easy, wouldn't it?
That movie was before 9/11, so.
That's true. Well, you know what? That happened to me. That movie happened to me one year too when I was flying out from Alberta, like a couple days after Christmas. It was like completely like snowed out. It was like a whiteout almost, like the day we were leaving, and it was kind of like treacherous getting out. And even the second time that I visited Alberta and I was leaving, there was like a blizzard like the day before. Like I have a cell phone video of it where it was like I just like earlier in the day it was like dry and like no snow, and then it started snowing a little bit, and I was like, oh, that's kind of nice on like the way back home after being at the city all day. And then it started going a little bit more, and then more, and then it was a blizzard. Like all of a sudden, like it just came out of nowhere, and that was kind of treacherous. But I made it back home. It was okay.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's Nightmare Before Christmas. Then there's the age-old debate of whether or not that film is actually a Christmas movie or Halloween movie. I think it's both.
Yeah, two truths can exist.
Yeah,
at the same
exactly.
time.
Like
yeah.
you can watch it twice a year.
Yeah,
You can watch it on Halloween and
You
watch it on
can
Christmas.
watch up to the part where like before you can watch like right up to basically where like Jack goes to Christmas Town and then cut there, and then when it's like they're doing the thing with like when it's like making presents, like you know that little song they do. That's when you come back during Christmas because you're wrapping your presents.
You delay it for like 2 months.
Yeah,
You're like,
exactly.
okay.
It's like when you watch the Christmas Story and when they go to bed at like it's like Christmas Eve and they go to bed, you pause the movie there, and then the next morning you watch the movie and it's like within timing. Yeah.
Forgot about Gremlins.
Oh yeah, that's what I think. What I was thinking of was Gremlins. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally forgot. I love Gremlins, the first one. Have you seen Gremlins 2?
No, I haven't.
Oh, really?
No.
That's an interesting film. That film is like...
Isn't it like almost like a parody of the first movie too?
Yeah, it's almost like they didn't want to make it. And it's just like the entire film is just the Gremlins in like this office building. And like halfway through it's weird. Like the movie sets up this plot where then the Gremlins show up in this office building. And then the entire film is just bits with the Gremlins. Like it has nothing to, there's no plot to the movie. It's just like little segments with the Gremlins. It's just jokes over and over again. And then by the end, they all kill the Gremlins and the movie's over. It's really weird, but I kind of like it in a way because it's just like, yeah, it's almost like a satire of Gremlins. There's actually, I remember there's one more thing. I used to watch this animated Frosty the Snowman movie, but it wasn't the original Frosty the Snowman. It was the sequel.
Oh, I seen this one too. Yeah.
Yeah, do you know what I'm talking about? There's like a bunch of different families and like kids and like this kid, he like finds the book about it or something and he brings Frosty back.
Yeah.
I remember really liking that animated film.
It worked as like a decent like actual continuation too, because there was also in between that movie there was another Frosty movie that was a little bit more also kind of like modern. Like I think the one you're talking about was like must have been like a 2000s based on the animation.
It was like somewhat newer.
Yeah,
than
it was
the old one.
It was cleaner. It looked more like a 2000s Cartoon Network show than a 1990s Cartoon Network show. You know what I mean? But then there was like a Frosty that came out like in like the 80s or something like that. That was like it looked more like Garfield and Friends. Like sorry. Another thing about me, if you don't know this, we've really got into in the podcast, but I have weird animation references and understandings. Like I know things.
You do know things.
I know too much. I know too much about animation that is never at all practical. But yes, the second this Frosty the Snowman movie looked like Garfield and Friends with its animation, and that was like it was okay. That one was all right. It wasn't really good, but the third one they did. That proper sequel, it was like an actual continuation.
Yeah, it was good.
It worked.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That was like, yeah. It's funny because I was actually looking up like Christmas movies in prep for this, and I just remembered that, and I was like, damn, it's like a pretty big childhood memory that I forgot about.
Mhm.
Yeah. Were you talking about Frosty Returns?
Maybe.
That one?
That might be.
I don't think I saw that. I saw the original
Yeah.
in school a lot.
Well, the thing that pissed me off about that one was that I don't know, it wasn't a very good story. But then
Okay,
also
yeah,
at the
that's fair.
end, he takes his hat off.
Oh,
He takes.
he kills himself?
No, no.
Does he die?
No, it was like no. Hold on. Sorry, no. It was like no. It was so stupid. It's like the dumbest thing, and it pissed me off as a kid. It was like the end of the thing is that like Frosty has the hat, and then the guy like wants the hat, and then so Frosty gives him the hat, but Frosty is still alive.
Oh.
He's just still. Like it's just like a weird like animation like continuity thing. They didn't like just totally think it through. They just kind of like hand wave it like don't like pay like this is a movie for babies. Like they're not gonna like notice it. But I was a baby.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't a baby, but I noticed it.
And even then you were like, wait a minute.
I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't make no fucking
Oh.
sense. You told me that throughout this whole thing. This whole thing only happens because of the hat, and then you disobey the rules of the hat, and it just really pissed me because he just gives it away. Like that was the whole thing.
Does he
He's
give
like,
it away
"Oh,
to
we're
like
gonna
some
give it away."
business dude?
Yeah, something like that, because that's like his like rosebud or whatever.
I think that's the one I'm talking about.
No,
No?
because it was like no, because the ending of the one you're talking about is that the narrator is revealed to be the main kid
Yeah.
of the whole
No,
movie.
Okay, no, that's
Yeah.
the one I'm talking about.
Yes.
I don't know this one where he hands off his hat to some guy and
Mhm.
stays alive somehow.
Well, I think he gets a second hat. That's the thing is that there's two hats.
So it never really mattered. He could just have an infinite store of hats and he's fine.
I guess.
That's
Well, I even
funny.
forget that first Frosty movie is technically even a Christmas movie Beyond the Snow because Santa Claus shows up at the end.
Oh, forgot about that.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Otherwise, it would probably still be a Christmas movie because,
Yeah.
you know.
How do you feel about like mentioned it a little bit, but the Rankin Bass like movies? Like, have you seen like even just Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer? Like,
No. Oh, like what, the stop motion one?
yeah,
Yeah, of course.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. I guess that's one I forgot about. No. I think that's like one of my dad's favorites. No, that's a classic. I used to watch that a lot. I think the stop motion still holds up, and yeah, that movie's really it can get pretty dark actually.
Mm-hmm.
There's like like the Misfit toys,
Mm.
and like one of them's like a gun or something. I don't know. It's just like it was like for the time, you know. But yeah, no. What do I think about it?
Yeah,
I
is
don't
it
know.
like, do you watch it like every year?
No, I don't watch it every year. Although occasionally it'll probably come up in the house. But yeah. Did you?
I've just seen it. I actually saw the sequel to it, which
There's a
was
sequel?
yeah, and it was like a weird CGI movie.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
it was
that
weird.
sounds worse.
Yeah, I watched it as a kid,
Yeah.
and I don't remember anything that happened to it. I just remember, I think like the Misfit toys
Mm-hmm.
actually like turn like bad or something like that, and that's like the plot of it,
Damn.
I think. And then like the elf, like main elf guy turns bad too.
No,
Whatever his name is, I don't remember.
that's a weird sequel hook.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I
Yeah,
mean.
Okay.
Yeah, and then but then I think years later, then I finally saw the original, and I was like, oh, this is like good.
It is good.
And I realized that it was like, and then I realized like, wait, this is where Elf like took its like fucking
Yeah.
costume design.
Yeah,
Wait a
yeah.
minute.
I mean, it's like
It's so obvious.
it's like referencing it.
yeah,
like,
yeah. That's the
in a
whole point
way.
of that movie
Yeah,
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's it for like Christmas films that I can think of.
Do you think that like the Peanuts Christmas special is like
Ooh, I haven't-
that's more
Yeah,
of a
no,
short, honestly.
it is
It's
a
not
short.
really like a,
It's a classic,
yeah.
which I have not seen in a long time. Yeah, I love the Charlie Brown song. What do you even call that song? What is that song called?
What, Christmas time? Which like it's Christmas time.
No, the-
is here.
What
Oh.
do you
Oh, I
call
think
that?
that's I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
what it's called.
That's the one I like.
Because we were just listening to it.
Yeah, we were.
Mr. Hart
Mhm,
put
we
it
were-
on.
We were jamming out to it.
Yeah, we were jamming out to the Peanut soundtrack the other
Mhm.
day before our class. Yeah. He mentioned his favorite song is "Skating."
Mm-hmm.
So shout out. Let's see if this is gonna get us a copyright strike on the channel. We're just gonna put this in the background
Why
right now.
are you trying to get copyright?
I don't know. We're just trying to see what's gonna happen this episode.
Just testing it out.
Yeah, sure. Why not? See how good like the
This will
algorithm.
end the podcast.
This is what ends it. We spent a lot of time talking about like Christmas like movies.
Mm-hmm.
What about like Christmas memories? Like, did you ever like just like go over to like your like grandparents' house and have the Christmas dinner there?
Yeah, it was always
Yeah.
it was always my grandparents' house. It was always the dinner. Um,
You have to wear like a nice shirt, and you got to put on like your belt and pants, and you
kind
gotta
of,
like.
kind of. I never like dressed up that much.
Mm.
Yeah. Mhm. No, I always enjoyed it. It was always that was probably the those are good family memories that I can think of.
I never had like, cause
You never did that
no,
much,
I was
or?
gonna say though was I never like had a lot of like siblings.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had a sister like pretty late, so I was
Yeah,
like an
yeah.
only
Well,
child for like
same.
the
Yeah, I
longest
didn't
time.
have that growing up.
But
Yeah.
like what was fun to me though was like seeing all like my cousins
Mhm.
that were like that would then
Mhm.
have like brothers and sisters and whatever, and then I'd see my cousins and like then like have my aunts and uncles.
Mhm.
But those it was also weird too because like both my parents are also single children, like only
Mhm.
children as well. So then it's more like it's like second like removed like aunts and uncles and cousins. Like they're not like it's like my grandparents had siblings
Mhm.
and those are now my cousins.
Mhm.
And it's like kind of like it's
Yeah,
just
no,
kind of
that's
weird.
that's similar to my family. All
Yeah,
my
right.
aunts
Yeah.
and uncles were always my great aunts and uncles, but I
Mhm.
just referred to them as my aunts and uncles
Mhm.
because I only have one immediate uncle, and he wasn't even around. So, yeah, he's back now though.
That's good.
But yeah, but like I said before, a lot of my like family is just kind of shrinking in a way because they're getting to that age, you know. So yeah, all of my great aunts and uncles are going now.
Have you ever seen Bad Santa?
No.
I saw it last year for the first time, and like like it's a funny movie, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just like I don't know. It's just like a lot of weird jokes. It's a very
It's like
2000s.
raunchy.
Yeah, it is. It's really it is. I'd say too. That's definitely the word for it. Is
Yeah.
raunchy. Like specifically, like there's just like a lot of like sex jokes. First of all, a lot of weird
Mm-hmm.
jokes as well too. Like just like bizarre. Like the grandmother character
Mm-hmm.
in it is just like like I don't even know how to describe it. She's just like what's the word I'm like looking for? Just doesn't know anything that's going on. Like just like always wants to
Aloof.
yeah, just
I
always
guess.
wants to make sandwiches.
Okay.
But that's even it. That's even like the lighter like end of it. Like she doesn't even realize there's people in her house that she doesn't know. Like she's just completely like gone. I don't know. It's such a weird movie, but it also
Mm-hmm.
has like a really good like heart
Mm-hmm.
and like tone and story. And it
Mm-hmm.
starts off with like the
Mm.
Billy Bob Thornton,
Yeah.
like just like Santa being like awful and cruel, and then
Mm-hmm.
you just like slowly learn more about the guy, and he like really tries to like make a difference in this like kid's life who
Interesting.
probably doesn't really deserve it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, no, I sorry. Like, I mean, he doesn't like quite deserve the redemption.
Oh, okay.
Like, sort of at the end of the movie, but
Yeah.
it like it happens, and it's a good ending.
Yeah, I'll check it out. We were talking about believing in Santa. What was the age that you stopped believing in Santa?
It was really late. I
Me
was,
too.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know.
Mine's the kind of an embarrassing age, but yeah.
I think I was like 12.
Me too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something
same.
like that. I think it was just
I was-
because I think it was because yeah, that would have been like grade 6 or grade 7 or something like that. And
Yeah.
it was just like the last bit, and I just had to like ask my mom like, Mom, is Santa Claus real? Like, just be honest. Like, I just
Yeah,
need to know. I need to move on.
I have to know.
I just yeah, I'm just like ugh. I don't know. Do you think it's a good thing that we have? Like, I've been thinking about this a lot.
Yeah.
Like, do you think it's like a good thing that we like have Santa Claus and like the Easter Bunny and the Queen of England and like all
Yeah.
these like mythical, like fantastical, like
kangaroos.
yeah.
I don't think the Easter. Oh no, I did believe in the Easter Bunny a bit.
Yeah,
I think it was
yeah.
like sooner that I realized it was just my dad hiding eggs around not actual eggs, chocolate eggs around the
Mhm.
house. But
Just imagine
just like
hard boiled eggs.
just like raw
You
eggs.
peel them and just like eat them. I don't know.
Ew.
Mm.
No,
Mhm.
I was also 12, I think, or even around there when I pretty much was told, very disappointingly so, that Santa was not real. And I think it's just because I kind of knew leading up to it, like the couple years leading up to it, but I didn't want to accept it. And it was funny because like the couple years leading up to it, I had started to like really question everything, and I was like, first of all, I got this letter from Santa, and he mentioned Rudolph. Rudolph's not real. That's a movie. That's You know, I just didn't believe in that aspect, so I was like, something's not right here. Something ain't adding up.
Pulls out magnifying glass.
And it just, yeah. And then I had to confront my parents about it. And yeah, lo and behold,
Do you miss the
Mr.
times?
Claus is not real.
What the fuck? This is bullshit.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm killing the president. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't do that.
I'm gonna kick that out.
Cut that out.
Do you miss? Do you miss like holiday like television? Because I once again, growing up in the early era of the 2000s and just being part of like that last breath of like television, like the television age before streaming, before cell phones, before the just internet in general really becoming the main force it is today. I just remember, like, I mentioned a couple times already, but Teletoon, like, specifically, I remember them going, like, all out for, like, their holiday, like, bumpers and, like...
Just airing a bunch of Christmas movies,
shows. Or, yeah, and even just, like, shows, like, TV shows, like, having, like a Christmas special.
Yeah, that's what I was
like,
going to say. Like,
or, like, even like, a Halloween special. Like, and, like, maybe it's, like, a relatively, like, normal, funny show, and then there's one episode that's, like, spooky, or there's, like, one episode that's heartfelt because of these times of the year that we find ourselves in. But now with like streaming, like I think that was the interesting thing I noticed with like Smiling Friends actually. Season 2
they did a Halloween special
in the middle of like May or something, and the Christmas episode, it basically turns into a Christmas episode, that like last final episode.
Yeah.
But then it was like airing in the beginning of the year, like pretty like early on this like last year, right? Like it was like it was April. I think April 1st was when that Grimley episode came out, and then it was like how like a month later in the May that the rest of the episodes started to kind of finally come out.
But you'd want those episodes to come out like around
or like
the holiday times.
Or it was like it was planned to be out later in the year.
You're probably right.
But then because we live just in a streaming age of things just being published out.
Yeah,
like it was like, I'm not to like put words in their mouth, but it was like it was Zach and Michael's idea to like, that they had kind of a plan of when this might, or maybe that's like the joke, is that you don't expect it to be a Halloween and a...
The only thing that works about it is that you can always just go back and watch it during that time. But yeah, like it would probably be nicer if it came out around that time, you know? It's fitting.
And do you notice that too? That like shows don't really have like those dedicated holiday episodes.
Not much anymore. Although I will say they haven't completely gone away. Although I guess in recent years I haven't noticed much, just because there hasn't been much shows recently anyway. But one of my favorite shows, Amphibia, had Halloween special, and it came out pretty much in October, and that was like a streaming show. And well, it wasn't really. It did air on the Disney TVA network, so I guess that's why. But I think that was like 4 years ago at this point. And then it also had a Christmas special probably a couple years ago at this point during Christmas time. So that was nice. But now, yeah, I mean, in terms of like streaming, you would have to like line it up properly, and it's not always going to line up properly because shows just get kind of dumped out, you know. Now they just kind of just...
Did you ever notice...
released in bomb format, essentially, just all of it.
Like, let's put it this way. Did you ever notice that Breaking Bad never had a Christmas episode? Like, think about it.
Did it need one? It would have been cool to have one.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, that's kind of what I mean, though. Like, it's almost, and that's the reason why I bring up that show, because I think a lot of modern television stems from that. You could say The Sopranos and The Wire and 24 and a lot of that stuff too, but really, I think even just being able to stay in like the public conscience, Breaking Bad has done a really good job at that. And I think it's because of its storytelling being, once again, timeless in a way, kind of like this podcast, but like it being, because it takes place over 2 years, and 2 defined years, 2008 and to 2010, and which is what I think they say in El Camino and in the last episodes of Better Call Saul, is that like that's when this like series is taking place. So and we see the progression of time through Walter White's birthday. We see 50, 51, and then in the final couple of episodes he turns 52. But we never see him celebrate Christmas or anyone else's birthday.
Just doesn't happen
Halloween.
In Albuquerque.
Yeah, I guess it just doesn't snow in Albuquerque, I guess, or something. I don't know. Yeah.
No, I don't remember it coming up in the show. I guess just because it's such a like non-serialized format, they're not thinking about it. They're like, because I feel like those specials work better in a sitcom format. you know,
Mhm.
because it's non-episodic, so you can just kind of do your own little non-canon or serialized special. So it's not going to come up in like a story-driven show like that.
Mhm.
But yeah, but then there are like hybrid shows too, right? Like sitcoms that have an overarching story, like the show I just mentioned. So they can do that there, as long as there's like a formula to it. I think that's why. But I feel like in a story-driven show, that's not going to be the case. I would love a Breaking Bad Christmas episode. That would be great.
Christmas at
Replace the
Gust's.
Fly episode with the Christmas special. Like, just make it Christmas themed. It's the same episode, except they're just it's Christmas time. I don't
They
know.
just like it's like a deep fake. They put like they're wearing like Santa hats or whatever throughout.
I don't know.
He's holding instead of the fly swatter, it's a candy cane that he's like trying to hit the fly with.
Not even that. It's just like they could have written it as, oh, it's Christmas time, and Walter White has to kill a fly in the meth lab. I don't know.
And instead
I love that episode, by the way.
Instead of being at home with his family during Christmas,
In character.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's weird that like a show like The Simpsons started off with a Christmas special almost by accident, only because the first like episode produced was so horribly animated that they had to like stop episodes and find like a new animation studio, or like they just redid the animation. I can't remember if it was the same studio or not. I think it was. I think Classic Chupo just redid it to make it more on model and more like in tone with like how the show would become later on too visually. But and then it wasn't until like I think 8 seasons later that it did another Christmas episode. Finally,
It took that long?
It took that long. Yeah. It was like 8 years later they finally came back to doing it, and now they've been like a little bit more regularly
I'm
with
sure they
it.
have.
But like they that's something too that I think like, you know, say whatever you want about Zombies and Simpsons, and they should just go over. And it's season 36. At least with the newer stuff, they seem to be trying and going in different directions. But also, even like the recent Christmas episodes are still really good. And I think there's a certain like I think the reason why The Simpsons have been able to last for so long is because it has a certain heart to it, not like South Park or Family Guy, which goes so far into the extreme.
Yeah.
I think that's sometimes where The Simpsons fails in like when you have those middle seasons where it sure is getting probably a little formulaic, so they needed to find new ways to make things funny without just relying on same jokes, so you go pretty broad. But I think in the recent years, having it come back and be more about the family and finding that heart that was kind of in the original series is what's made it last for so long and kept it going for so long, because there's like relation. It's not like Family Guy where it's like by like the 4th or 5th season, like they're not even like really family. It's just like tropes, like essentially.
Just a bunch of characters in a room who hate each other.
Yeah, exactly. But like with The Simpsons, that's like the whole thing is built around relationships.
family,
yeah, exactly. That's what that whole series is based off of.
Yeah. Futurama has some great Christmas specials.
Xmas specials.
Sorry,
Xmas.
I was gonna mention this too. I'm glad I brought this up because I think Xmas, like the concept of Xmas from Futurama, is like one of my favorite just Christmas concepts in general. I love the idea that Santa, you have to hide from him, and he's this murderous robot, and he's
Voiced by John Goodman in the first episode.
Is he?
Yeah,
Oh,
and then John DiMaggio takes over
That makes
for him
sense.
in the later
It's
ones.
just such a funny concept, and so it's like that would be terrifying. I love it. Yeah. And did Futurama ever have a Halloween episode? I don't remember.
Not really. The closest thing I could probably think of would just be like The Sting, because that's a little bit more. That's not really,
Halloween. Great episode.
but it's also because it is kind of like a psychological horror thing, though.
Sure.
Like it tries to go like really. It goes down a direction.
yeah.
It's not like any of the other Futurama episodes.
No.
It's not like Jurassic Park. It's not like the late Philip J. Fry. It's not Luck of the Fryrish. Like it's not any of those other kind of similar to like The Simpsons, honestly, those kind of like heartfelt episodes. It's not like that. This is more about just being in a weird scenario and messing with the audience and having that unreliable dream state of Leela being.
Yeah, no, it's really
Yeah.
good. It's still kind of heartfelt by the end.
It is. It's
dramatic,
really
of
good.
course.
Yeah.
And they're really good at that.
There's also I don't know if you ever saw it was one of the later, it was in the Comedy Central years, I think. They did like an anthology of interest.
Yep.
Like similar holiday special.
Yeah.
Which is really weird, and I think like all the characters keep on dying in it. Like I don't remember.
Probably.
I think that's what like one of the jokes is that
Yeah.
everyone keeps on dying. There's like Robonica, and like all the crew dies so
Oh.
that they can get the oil out of them. And then there's like I think like the Kwanzaa, and that's where the joke is
Yeah.
what the hell is Kwanzaa or whatever.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
Or even the first the first movie Bender, what is it? No.
Bender's Big Score?
Yeah, isn't that also technically isn't there Doesn't the robot Santa show up again in that one?
I think so.
With like the rabbi and the Kwanzaa bot.
Probably.
I think that was from that first movie.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, well, it's been almost 2 hours now.
Okay.
So thank you for coming on the podcast.
Here's the term 4.
Here's the term 4. And thank you for listening to another episode of the Second Year Run podcast. I hope you have a good rest of the day, wherever that might be.
Christmas is the greatest time of year. But to enjoy it most, we need to get out of bed. It only comes round once a year. There is snow outside with some reindeer. Go to the window and then you will see Santa's coming down the chimney. Putting some presents